Hello, beautiful, or should I say, salve, beautiful people of the internet. My name is Ryan. Welcome back to the Forgotten City and episode 10 of our playthrough of this lovely game. Sorry, I have to change something on my monitor. Welcome. In case you missed it, in the last episode, we may have committed not a crime, not a sin, but a mistake. Galerius had a really interesting option right at the start of the episode where, I think it was the start of the episode, where he could gather everyone in the cistern, I think. And we did that, but then I decided I didn't like that, so we reverted the situation. So that's like kind of a card to keep up our sleeve. At the start of a time loop, we can ask Galerius to do that if we need to. What else did we do? We spoke with Malleolus. We spoke with Malleolus, and eventually got kicked out of his house after also speaking with Claudia. Then made our way up to the tippy top. It's up here, somewhere up there, right? Made our way up to the tippy top to finally meet for the first time both Ulpius and Vestia, I think is the correct name. Can you tell it's been a couple days since I've played the game? I think it's Vestia. This is why we have notes. And anyways, Ulpius met an untimely and terrible end. Because he misses Scintilla, but we know what happened to Scintilla. So all of that leaves us in the middle of a complex web of interpersonal relationships and potentially complex time loop solutions. So what are we going to do? Well, we've got a lot of balls in the air that we're juggling. Ulpius, Malleolus, who is the same as Quinctius. We must get Malleolus to drop out of the election. We have to do this. We have to save Ulpius, etc., etc., etc. Why don't we just say screw all of those things? Let's add one more thing to the let's add one more ball into the air. Is this Rufius? We still haven't spoken to you. And the one thing I want to add is forever ago we met this stranger under the city. And we've heard a little bit about how food keeps getting... Georgius, I can't say it correctly, keeps putting food out here and it keeps disappearing. Also, Khabash has gone missing. All signs point to here. We spoke to the SUC, the stranger under the city, and said, come back when you know the name of the god who's making all of this happen. We know that now. So let's do it. Let's go speak to the stranger under the city and see if we can... See if they know what happened to Khabash. See the game autosaved. See if they have anything to tell us about our situation here. I'm sure they do, right? I'm sure they do. I think, have examined all of this before, so I don't need to look for secrets. Oh, they won't let me jump off? I was going to see if I could jump off. Mostly because I'm looking for... I'm still looking for one very confusing thing. I've been given instructions to wade against the current. I see running water. I see a current. I think, maybe. Maybe that's where I need to be. Ranger under the city. Who are you? And have you seen Khabash, or do you have any knowledge of what might have happened to him?
Come and join me.
Are you Khabash? I'd love to.
Welcome. May I ask your name?
Salve. I'm little indigestion. You first.
It is best you do not know my name, for merely to speak of my existence in the city above could bring destruction on you all. Tell me, what brings you all the way down here?
Okay, time to start taking notes. Name is a secret. Could bring destruction. I'm looking for Khabash.
Ah, Khabash.
Khabash.
I know this man. He came through here some weeks ago. I will tell you everything I know, but first, a request.
Mm-hmm.
I have been living down here alone for many years.
Years.
With nobody to talk to but myself. The one thing I long for above all else before I die is a good philosophical argument with somebody astute. I'm hoping that person is you.
I'm
Let
hoping.
us find out with this simple question. Have you deduced the name of the god responsible for the Golden Rule?
Yes, it's Pluto, god of the underworld. I believe we're existing in the very same underworld where Sisyphus was set to live out his punishment, where etc., etc., etc.
Excellent. I see you are indeed quite astute. Very few come to that realization before their time
Thank you.
in the sun is over. Now, will you join me in a friendly Socratic dialogue?
I'll do my best. You're making me nervous. Yeah, let's do it.
Wonderful. Then let me begin with a question. Would you say you know the difference between right and wrong?
Oh, let me get my John Stuart Mill out. Let me get my Introduction to Ethics textbook out. Is right and wrong? Oh boy. Have patience with me. If you're watching this at home, have patience with me because my brain's going to go a lot of different places here. Is right and wrong something inherent to the action? Is murder inherently wrong? Life is sacred. The ending of life is incorrect? Or is murder wrong because we have sociologically constructed it to be wrong? Because it's sort of a taboo that civilization would fall apart if we didn't make it wrong. I don't know. I would say it's complex. Is it wrong because of is it wrong because of a less sociological level and more interpersonal level? Things are wrong if I would have you not do them to me. Things are right if, I would be okay with you doing it to me. To vastly simplify things. I don't know. I took one philosophy class on this, but it's been 12 years. It's a complex question.
You are an overthinker too. We're the same then. It is probably why I became a philosopher. But if you struggle with right and wrong normally, then down here with the Golden Rule, surely your struggle can only have become more difficult.
Oh, so you're an overthinker. All of the YouTube comments immediately started typing. Yes, I'm an overthinker. Shut it. Of course I am. Yeah, of course it's gotten more difficult on here. Currently, I live in a land whose description of right and wrong I do not necessarily agree with, and the consequences of which I certainly do not agree with.
Well, that's reassuring. And the truth is, you're not alone. You see, out there in the world, being uncertain about right and wrong was acceptable because our mistakes rarely had consequences. So we would tell
I don't know about
lies
rarely.
and bend rules and turn a blind eye and rationalize, and yet still find a way to think of ourselves as good people. But under the Golden Rule, morality matters. The slightest wrongdoing could result in a mass execution. So to navigate this maze, we would have to be certain about the difference between right and wrong. Wouldn't you agree?
Actually, I disagree. You're correct that you would if you only had one life to live in this hellhole. But I am in a time loop. And so I don't have to know what's right and wrong. I can experiment. I can watch Ulpius fall from a great height and go, looks like suicide is not a sin. At least in this world. Right after... It's not Vestia. What is that person's freaking name? Right after, Secret Christian. What's her name? I'm gonna look it up because this is bugging me. Is it Octavia? After Octavia... Right after Octavia called suicide a sin, Ulpius jumped, and yet it was not a sin. So really, the thing that's going on here is that we're just looking at Pluto's version of right and wrong. Whose version?
That is an excellent question, and it leads directly to my next line of inquiry. So let me ask you this. Is there one system of morality which is always perfectly correct, which you could follow in every situation and always do the right thing?
This is going to be very interesting to see, like, the level... What level of approach does this game want to take to this conversation? It's going to be interesting to sort of navigate. Is it going to be a sort of, like, middle schoolish, like... remember that first time in middle school where you and your friends got obsessed with the idea that, like, what if this was all just a dream? Like, what if we were currently in a dream? And so nothing we did really mattered, because eventually we'd just wake up. Or, like, the slightly later version of that is you're in high school, and then you're like, well, what if it's all a simulation? And, like, you know, if it's a simulation, then nothing we do actually, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or is this going to be a more, like, nuanced, like, there's morality, but then there's also where morality meets the law, like in justice. And justice is the imposing of one of those moralities onto all of us, despite what each of us individually find to be correct. Like, where exactly on the spectrum is this game going to fall? So far, it seems a little bit further towards the latter of those two. Is there, but to answer the person questionally, or to answer the question personally, is there one system of morality which is always perfectly correct? I don't necessarily agree with that. I wouldn't say yes. Which you could follow in every situation and always do the right thing. What you mean, sort of like a simplified, you know, maybe one rule that you could just sort of simplify everything under. Maybe the many shall pay for the sins of the one, or they do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Yes, no, there's more than one. I'm going to say no, I don't think so. Which is not exactly how I actually feel, but I don't feel confident enough in this answer to know what that's getting me into. I feel like no asterisk is my actual answer.
Are you sure? Or is it possible that humans simply haven't figured out the right system yet?
I mean, we're here, right? Here's how I mostly feel. I think that law is sort of, if humans are going to live together in societies greater, you know, larger than 100 people at a time, I think law is sort of necessary. I think it is also oftentimes very evil. I think it commits injustice as a side effect of trying to say there is one correct system. Here's how it goes. Everything from, you know, imposing a tax system on people that is going to create winners and losers to, you know, I mean, how serious do we want to get here? Like, wrongfully executing people who did not actually commit the crimes they, you know, this has happened quite a bit under law and order systems, is people get, sure, maybe you mete out the correct justice to 95% of people, but is the system correct if 5% of people are unjustly treated? Is the system correct if 1% of people are unjustly treated? Is the system correct if 1 in a million people are unjustly treated? I don't know. I don't think that I think, like, this is why I lean personally more towards that there is such a thing as a personal morality and not such a thing as a correct morality, which is why I'm going to say option 2. I think there is no such thing as a correct morality.
So is it up to each of us to decide what right and wrong mean to us individually? Or must we simply follow the laws and customs of whichever community?
This is what I was getting to. I think it's John Stuart Mill who talks about the idea, and I might be getting this wrong because it was 12 years ago. I think it was the philosopher John Stuart Mill who talks about sort of a, like, decide for yourself your morality and then impose it upon the larger society. And if the morality you have decided for yourself, when imposed upon the larger society, creates problems, then your morality, has holes in it. It's not correct. I think both of these options are wildly true. Also, I can't wait to hear. I'm sure many of you picked different options, have different opinions on all of this. It's interesting that the game goes here. It sort of asks you personally to take a stand. I lean more towards, I think we need to decide for ourselves. Because I think really what we're saying here, like, look at these two options. I think we need to decide for ourselves. I think we need to follow the laws and customs of our community. Take either of those options, draw them out to the end of the spectrum, look at them with a magnifying glass. Are you saying if I live in a world and in a community or government or system that that regularly oppresses certain people unfairly, that I just say, well, I'm in a community and the community has decided, and you just do nothing? I wouldn't say that's the case. On the other hand, is it really right that the random person you meet on the street is just deciding for themselves what is right and wrong? I still lean towards this option, but if you blow this up and magnify it and exaggerate it, of course it could sound terrible. Of course it could sound, this is like vigilante justice. This is et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to click this option. I think we need to decide for ourselves.
So if a man feels that stoning to death his unfaithful wife is right, then is it right?
No, that's absurd.
I agree. But why? Didn't you just say right and wrong depends on the individual?
Individual? I like the way you say individual. If he feels it's right to kill his wife, then he's confused or sick. My honest approach in this conversation, my honest feeling is you're trying to get me to nail down how I feel in a way that I don't find productive. Not just how I feel, but I think this is the nature of, oh man, this is getting so interesting. I think that the nature of man, as man being person, as individual who lives in, my least favorite word to use in conversations like this, society. We live in a society. I think the nature of people in society is the duality of acting as an individual and as a part of a society. I think being an individual and being in a system require of you two very different things, which mean that you will face the problem he's saying right now. If he feels it's his right to kill his wife, then he's confused or sick. Let's pick it. I'm unhappy with my options here.
I see. So you get to decide right from wrong. The people who see things differently are not allowed. What makes you special?
This is actually relatively close. I would phrase it differently, but this is relatively close to how I feel. The name for the thing that I can't remember from John Stuart Mill, which is if you were to impose your sense of morality onto society writ large and people suffered and it was unfair, then your system is incorrect. My memory of that idea is basically that the final lesson there is when I decide what's right or wrong, I am not saying, well, for me, this is right and wrong. You're saying, well, for me and for others who would live in the same situation or who would live in proximity to me, this is one of the, this is what benefits us all and hurts no one. Let's say empathy is the cornerstone of human morality. I agree with that.
Empathy? The emotion? Let me ask you this.
An emotion?
Imagine you were forced to choose between the death of your beloved spouse and the death of two innocent strangers. Knowing there will be no legal consequences, who would you mark for death?
The strangers.
Of course, everyone would. Our empathy, like a siren song calling us away from our true path, would lure us toward the greater evil. Can such a beguiling thing be a reliable cornerstone for anything, let alone the perfect moral
God
code?
damn it. Fuck you, dude. This guy's good. This guy's good. Here's the thing. You're so right. You're so right. It's a little tragedy of the commons. When my daughter, who was born a couple months ago, grows up to be a middle schooler, a high schooler, a member of society, I'm going to have an outsized desire to see her healthy, safe, succeed. And the problem, that's natural and great, and the problem with that is when there are only so many resources to go around, or my desire to see her succeed meets the desire for someone else, you know, the chance for someone else to get an opportunity. That sucks. I still think it's the only thing we have. I still think it's sort of the only thing we have. Can it be a reliable cornerstone, let alone the perfect moral code? I don't think it's a perfect moral code. I think it's sort of the best we have. I suppose not. What's your point?
My point is this. I don't think anyone alive truly knows any hard and fast rules about right and wrong.
I think we can agree. I'm not sure about that. What about do not kill? We don't have to go down this. I mean, I'll click it, but we don't really have to go down this path, right? Do not kill ever? In any situation? Ever? Truly ever? I'll click it.
Surely you would agree there are circumstances where an exception may be made, such as where it is necessary for self-defense or to prevent a greater evil? For any rule, you can imagine there are countless situations in which that rule may be suspended, and those situations are impossible to codify.
It's almost like the job.
If there is one thing I have observed about rules, it is that virtuous people do not need them, and evil people will always find a way.
Are you actually Socrates?
And so we must accept our limitations, and the sad truth that no human society will ever achieve the utopia for which it strives.
I like
In
this.
mathematics, we would call it an asymptote, a line that can be approached but never reached.
The limit does not exist.
Because the only way to create a utopia is with the ever-present threat of force, such as the Golden Rule.
Is this a utopia outside?
This and no other is the root from which a tyrant springs when he first appears as a protector. And life under tyranny is no utopia at all.
I see. Okay. That was maybe the most incredible writing in the entire game, the last 5 lines. So I'm going to talk through it real quick. To be clear, I think I'm about as far on the spectrum of killing is bad as you could, you know, like, yeah, I'm about as pacifist as it comes. And of course the mind supplies situations, as to quote Socrates here. Of course the mind supplies situations in which any rule must be suspended. Yeah. Man, I like this person a lot. The thing you did at the end, the thing that this person did at the end, which maybe does convince me that this might actually be Socrates or something, is that they said, to get a utopia, then, you need a system of such power and clarity as the Golden Rule. And the problem with a system like the Golden Rule with that much power and clarity is that it breeds tyranny. Tyranny as protector. Ah, damn, it's good. I think I agree. Life under tyranny is no utopia at all. I think I agree. I hope I'm agreeing to I hope my understanding of what he's saying is correct, and therefore I'm agreeing to what I think I am.
I'm glad to hear that. In any case, thank you for humoring an old man. I would be happy to answer your questions.
I am not going to do it, but I would be so interested to know how many different ways that conversation can go. Because there were a lot of different forks there, and I really wonder what it could have been if you answered differently, because I'm sure many people do. I'm not convinced that I answered it. I'm not even convinced I answered it faithfully to my own beliefs, let alone answered it correctly, if such a thing is even possible, if that makes sense. Ah, that was a fun conversation. And it's making me think hard. What's your story?
You mean, how did I end up living alone in this cave with nothing but these relics of the past?
We're in a
for
cave.
company?
Are there shadows on the wall?
It's a long story.
I'm listening.
I was a quarrelsome young man. At 19, I left Corinth for Rome to study rhetoric at one of her finest academies, so I could argue more forcefully. Back then, I used to enjoy verbally sparring with everyone I could, and I was good. One night, I found myself in a tavern, in an argument with a drunk mercenary. It became heated, he drew a gladius, and I won the argument, but lost my life. I woke up on the banks of the Styx at a campfire opposite Karen. Of course, I tried to persuade her to let me return, but even with all my skill, I failed. I settled in, made friends, and learned what I could, quickly realizing our little community faced certain death under the Golden Rule. So I began looking for a place to hide underground. Fortunately, I found this place waiting for me. You see, I was not the first to take refuge here. I returned to my friends above, persuaded them to join me, and 12 of us descended for the last time to live out our days
12?
hidden from Hades' tyranny.
Hades, you mean Pluto. By saying Hades, you reference the Greek god Hades rather than the Roman god Pluto. You traveled from Corinth to Rome. My knowledge of ancient history is so bad. Are you Socrates, Aristotle, Plato, none of the above? Oh, my brain. You travel down here with 12 others. I love the little tongue-in-cheek, writing that I have to point out here that was super smart is I won the argument and lost my life. That's a jab at philosophers. That's a jab at rhetoric. It's saying this is all fine and good, but a simple gladius, a simple weapon, and I'm done for. Let's ask this question. Hades, you mean Pluto?
They are one and the same. The Romans call him Pluto.
The hermit.
But long before
philosopher.
that, my people called him Hades.
Why can't you return to the surface?
My generation was wiped out, turned to gold, many years ago. My friends and I were able to avoid the same fate by hiding down here. I think it's safest to assume that if I was to return, Hades would realize that his Furies hadn't finished the job, and he'd send them after me again.
The Furies is the name for the golden statues? Where's everyone else?
I'm afraid I am the only one left. There were 12 of us in the beginning, but one by one, my friends passed away. Some from malnutrition, others from madness and despair. It has been lonely. Before my unexpected visit from Khabash some weeks ago, I'd not seen another person in many, many years.
Do you age down here? How have you survived down here?
Living in darkness is not without its challenges. The first challenge is diet. Fortunately, I found that eating fresh fish provides most of the nutrients I need. And sometimes, when there are Greek people living up above, I surface at night and salvage the offerings they've left in the temple of Demeter. The greater challenge is the isolation, so I like to imagine arguments, where I argue both sides. But, like so many things in life, arguments are better with a partner.
Why can't you tell me your name?
I fear that if you were to utter my name in the city, even by mistake, that Hades would hear you and know I am still alive.
You could still tell it to me.
As you wish.
Talk about something else. Do you know a way out of here?
Ha! If I did, would I be living like this?
What do you think about the golden rule?
Did we not discuss it at length
Exactly.
already? Oh, I see. You're toying with me.
Do you know where I can find a plaque that was removed from the obelisk? There is a fourth plaque that I still don't have a lead on.
You seek the plaque bearing the Egyptian inscription.
I think that's correct. Yes.
It is a cursed object, and I would be happy to give it to you if Khabash had not already taken it.
Okay, maybe not then. Maybe this is the third plaque on my list. Tell me where Khabash is.
I will tell you, but you may find him hostile.
Oh, okay.
To prepare for your encounter, there are certain things you must know. Very few know this, but before the Romans came to this city, it was once entirely Greek. The architecture, the temples, and the people. When the Romans came, in typical fashion, they claimed it as their own, built over everything that could be built over, and renamed the things that could not. Thus, the Shrine of Persephone became the Shrine of Proserpina. And when they found an obelisk bearing the name Hades, they tore it off and replaced it with Pluto instead. And the city's dwindling Greek residents, witnessing this compulsive Roman conquest, decided to preserve what they could of their heritage. They gathered their art and valuables, secreted them away through the Temple of Demeter, and hid them here, out of reach of the Romans.
Okay. I'm with you so far.
However, there was one thing that always seemed out of place to me, and it is the very thing you seek. An even older plaque bearing an Egyptian inscription.
What did it say?
We had no idea until years later, when the first of my friends began to die. As a result of their deaths, we began to dig catacombs branching off from this cavern to lay them to rest. We extended the tunnel so far that we accidentally discovered another, an even older tunnel, which somebody had gone to great lengths to keep hidden.
I think
Suddenly
Egyptian
it
tunnel.
made sense why there was an out-of-place Egyptian plaque
And I
among our
think
people's possessions. You
Sarcophagus.
see, we proud Greeks had thought the Romans beasts for stealing and corrupting our heritage. But it turns out this game has been going on much longer than
Yeah.
any of us imagined. I think it is best you head through the catacombs and follow Khabash's trail.
What's in there?
There are certain things you must see for yourself. Take this key. You'll need it to open the gate.
Okay. Key to the catacombs. A rusty old key to the metal gate to the catacombs. Cool. I'll be going now. I want to talk so much more.
I enjoyed our chat, but please.
What's this
keep my
person's name?
presence here a secret. Yes.
Oh, I'm so curious what this person's name is. I will. A hermit philosopher. I'm not good enough at ancient history or philosophy, for that matter, to know if there are any famous philosophers who would have traveled from Corinth to Rome and etc. It's like and match the biography to the person, you know? Fish that you're using for nutrients.
Good to see you again, friend.
Salve, friend.
Did you find what you need? I enjoyed
seeing-
our chat, but please, keep...
Just seeing if there was a new dialogue option there. A Greek plaque which translates to "the many shall suffer for the sins of the one."
Ah, you've returned.
I was just here. This is a bathtub? A large tub which has been converted into a rather eccentric bed. Oh. Okay, so we have the thing over there. I also kind of want to wait against the current here. And I want to climb this thing and see. Oh, looking for the flashlight. Where's the flashlight at? There's a little hole right there that goes into the catacombs, which is interesting. It's funny that I can see through it. I nearly died there. Holy shit. I did want to come down here to swim around and see if there's anything to swim against the current, etc. to do, but I did not mean to take fall damage. Aha! I made it into a super secret area on the other side of the waterfall. There's nothing here. Damn it. Okay, we'll keep looking around real quick. You know, there could just be secrets. Gotta look around for some secrets. Here's the door, of course. Secrets. Why are you glowing like that? Where are you getting this light from? Why are you bioluminescent like that? Okay.
Ah, you've returned.
You've returned. Hey, where's this go? Oh, is this just a drop down into the area to get out? Looks like it. Can I jump over there? No, well, let me jump. Okay. All right. I mean, I think we're going into the catacombs then. That's really about all we can do, it looks like. So Khabash is alive. A friend of the philosopher. This must be one of the philosopher's 11 friends who he outlived. 11. Did he say there were 12 total or 12 friends of his? I guess I misheard. I don't know that it matters. 12 is an auspicious number for some of the people in this city, though. Specifically some cultists. Okay, there's something down here I'm going to have to see for myself, huh? Gonna have to see it to believe it. There's dead bodies everywhere. Very Skyrim, this. God, this is so Skyrim. Where's a Draugr when you need them? Spade. Then you erupt into an Egyptian tunnel. Does it have a current? Okay. God, this game is... freaked me out. Freaking me out. Close. Whoa! Okay, so you are a different type of enemy. A very different type of enemy. Which way should I go? This way? Okay, the statues are still staring at me. Egyptian vase is an Egyptian clay vase decorated with animals and geometric patterns. It now contains nothing but sand. Broken Egyptian statue. I wonder who the Egyptian god of the underworld is. We gotta try this door, right? Seems to be locked from the other side. Okay, so this is probably our exit when we come back. Making sure I'm not missing anything here. Who are you? Okay. All right. Oh no, the music is different. There's a live person right there. There's a couple. What is that light? That light is going to blind me, that flashing. Also, there's a deep noise down here, like a growling noise. Okay. Plenty of arrows. Oh, okay. The growling noise is just these people. Okay, that's fine. I don't like how they run. Being chased by mummies. Oh god, it's dark. And also, that flashing light is just freaking me out. Yep, if I turn away, you guys will look at me. An Egyptian board game. Game called Senate. Or the Senate. I don't know how to pronounce it. The rules for which are long forgotten. I kick you over. Another statue. This aha! We talking like Book of the Dead type situation? This is the only thing I know about Anubis. There you go. I don't know very much about ancient Egypt. An ancient Egyptian statue of a man with the head of a jackal. Could this be Anubis? Ooh, buddy. The game is lagging a little bit. An Egyptian plaque which translates to "the many shall suffer for the sins of the one." Aha! Before it was Roman, it was Greek. And before it was Greek, it was Egyptian. That's sort of mind-blowing. More arrows, another body. Egyptian man looks like he was running from something. Okay. God, this is creepy. Oh no, now they're gonna run after me. Nailed it. Okay, I'm just gonna quickly snipe some people. Looking around. They're all staring at me, of course. God, this is kind of creepy. Kind of freaking out here. Anubis. Statue of Akur, an ancient Egyptian deity said to guard against evil spirits and welcome the dead to the underworld. Okay. Love that. Big fan. Gotta check these little buildings and stuff for more arrows and information. And imagine if I could read ancient Egyptian graffiti. Why is the light so weird down here? It's flashing. Freaks me out. Okay. Doesn't look like there's anything else here. Let's go in. Get our bow out. Can never tell which bow is the correct one. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. Okay. What is that? Oh, that must be Khabash. Hello, friend. Salve.
Stop. Do not come any closer. Who are you?
I love how it says stranger, but then it also gives me the achievement for looking for Khabash. I'm Little Indigestion. Who are you?
I am Khabash. And let me guess. Another Greek or Roman come to loot and plunder the resting place of my ancestors.
Neither Greek nor Roman. I might loot and plunder. We'll see. I just got an achievement for finding all 3 missing persons. So that's cool. Steam achievement. I'm just looking for an... do I look Greek or Roman to you?
Trousers, boots, curious here. No, I suppose you do not. Then what do you want?
I'm looking for an Egyptian plaque. I'm not going to loot and plunder it. I just have to borrow it.
To what end?
I want to return it to the obelisk.
That is welcome news. You really are not Greek or Roman, are you? I was planning to return it myself, but for now, I must remain. Here, take it, and restore the honor of Osiris.
Perfect. An Egyptian plaque bearing a hieroglyphic inscription, Osiris, Lord of Silence. So the name for this god, Osiris, Hades, Pluto, and then there's a fourth one. I wonder what is the fourth one the modern name? What is it? I don't know. Thanks. That was a little too easy.
Now, as for the other plaque.
The fourth plaque? Do you know about that?
Indeed, I have it right here. I stumbled across a collection of dusty curiosities while searching for a place to hide from the hungry children of Amit, and there it was.
May I have it?
You may not. In fact, I
No!
am about to destroy it.
Why?
Because it speaks a treacherous, blasphemous lie.
What might it... Okay, this is interesting. What might it say that would be considered treachery and blasphemy by Khabash? I think it's got to be that it's a fourth name for this god, right? Is it something even older than Egyptian, or what? How so?
I will tell you, but first, do you know what this place is?
If it's the underworld, it predates the Romans. It predates the Greeks. It predates the... I mean, hypothetically, right? Hypothetically, it would. This is archaeologist insight, the Duat.
Indeed, and I see you know our history.
Well,
This is the Duat. See what has become of it. I have been down here for weeks, piecing together its story. And here is what I have learned. As Egypt declined and the Greeks had their turn to flourish, their souls came here in great numbers. But instead of adopting our ways, they copied and corrupted them. When they found the obelisk bearing the name Osiris, the true god of the underworld, they desecrated it, removing his name and replacing it with Hades.
okay.
Even the ferryman of the dead, known to my people long before as Kerti, they renamed to Keron.
Did not
as
piece
if
that. Did not know that.
desecration was not enough. They built over this place, using it as the foundation for their own underworld, so that ours was forgotten. My only solace is that the Greeks then suffered the same fate when the Romans rose to power, renaming Hades to Pluto, and the cycle began anew.
But what if you weren't first? Were you not first? What's the problem with this plaque?
It is inscribed with a script I do not recognize, but it is ancient, almost as if it is older than the plaque bearing Osiris's name. But if that is so, it would imply the gods of Egypt are mere imitations too, copied and corrupted from an ancient people who prospered even before us.
What if it's not ancient,
And
but
that
actually
my
modern?
people did to them what the Greeks and Romans did to us. But this, I cannot accept. I sense a deception. Perhaps it is the work of Set, the usurper, seeking to undermine Osiris once more.
Oh, buddy. I'm so curious, because I can see maybe the game is being like... It would make sense from Khabash's perspective to see something written in a modern script so far into the future that it therefore seems ancient. So I wonder if it is actually a modern text. But we'll see. I may be barking up the wrong tree here. Should I lie here, or should I just say, what does the inscription say? What does the inscription say? Because the subtext here is I can't kill you for it. As far as I know. I think Pluto's, Hades, Osiris's domain includes this area underneath. If I sin down here, it's bad. Lying, a sin. I can't kill you for it. If I lie and get caught or whatever. If I steal, that's a problem. So I think I have to get information out of you that I can then use to convince you. Give me the plaque. What does the inscription say?
You will never know.
Damn it.
This work of sacrilege must be destroyed, thrown into the black abyss below in Osiris's name.
Please don't. Do it and I'll kill you? Maybe not. Wait. Am I onto something here? Maybe we do the opposite. Maybe we threaten him, but in the opposite way than normal. Down here in the underworld, in this forgotten city, the threat to kill you is sort of like, it's sort of a threat in a different way than normal. Do it and I'll kill you?
You are too late.
No.
It is done.
Okay, you tossed it in. That's not that bad. I thought you broke it. I was really confused what happened there. I wish you hadn't done that.
It could not have gone any other way. It was Osiris's will. Now, the thing of evil you sought is gone. Why are you still here?
I'm gonna jump in after it. Well, I mean, we should talk. What's your story? Okay. What's your story?
I am from Rakotis, which you may know as Alexandria, the name of the city the Greeks built over it. I was a fisherman, like my father before me. Since the Romans had taken over from the Greeks, I took the opportunity to learn Latin and eventually traveled to Rome. When the fires broke out last year, I tried to help. I gathered terrified locals into my boat and led many of them to safety farther along the Tiber. On my 7th trip, a passenger demanded I wait for his brother. But we were full to almost sinking, and smoke was all around us. I told him his brother would have to save himself, and he tried to bribe me by placing a coin into my hand. When I refused, he drew a dagger and thrust it between my ribs. I awoke on the banks of the river to a stranger wearing a ram headdress. He said his name was Kirti, and at the time, I simply thought him odd. It did not dawn on me until much later that he was the Kirti, the ram-headed ferryman described in the Book of the Dead.
I did mention the Book of the Dead. Sorry, on this scene, the the background is like, the light is weird. It keeps flashing. It's distracting me. This does raise the question that I have already written down and said multiple episodes in a row, but why did I have a Daenerys on my person? I still don't know why that is. Do you know a way out of here?
This is where I belong, as caretaker of the memories of my people. If our ways are to be remembered, it falls to me.
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
I think if someone is to break the Golden Rule, it will not be me. For I try to live as I always have by the command of the goddess Ma'at. Do to the doer to make him do. As for the punishment that will come from it, I finally understand why it has long been said among my people that gold is the skin of the gods.
These last couple lines feel like the writers of this game just flexing their ancient Egypt knowledge, drawing connections. What do you think is down there? This hole, cavern, I don't know what it is in front of me.
I do not know. What could possibly lie beneath the underworld? Perhaps it is infinite darkness. Perhaps it is the lair of Amit, the devourer of souls. All I know is it would be unwise to venture down there.
Yeah, I could try. Makes me want to go down there even more.
Is everyone so contrary where you are from? Do not even consider it.
What are you going to do, kill me? I'll be going now.
Good. Be gone from this place. Wait. You are planning to go down there. I see it in your eyes.
We'll see.
I urge you, return to the surface with the Romans. It will be safer for you.
Here's what I want to do first. Is there anything to examine over here? Oh, I want to inspect that statue. This is Kerti, the Egyptian ram-headed deity, believed by the Egyptians to ferry the deceased to the underworld. He's associated with death and Osiris, the god of the underworld. This must be the man in the ram headdress who Khabash saw when he awoke by the river. There you go. So what do you think's in the hole?
That lamp, praise Ra. Truly, the gods are powerful in this place.
That lamp. Yes, yes, yes. I mean... Yeet. Gotta try it. Plaque bearing a cuneiform inscription, Nergal, the Fierce One. It's Sumerian. Okay, so it is ancient. It is ancient, ancient. The fourth plaque, we have it. That is gonna do it for this episode. We'll continue exploring the Egyptian underworld here in the next one. But thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you've enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like or a positive comment down below. Oh, buddy. We are well on our way with the Forgotten City. And I'm really loving it. This was a twist I did not see coming. Not only is this place not Roman, it's actually Greek. But it's actually not Greek, it's actually Egyptian. Not Egyptian, it's actually Sumerian. We've got our fourth plaque and the Egyptian one too. Fun times. We'll see. Where is this going to go next? We'll see in the next episode. Until then, have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much for spending this time with me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.